Good morning. On behalf of the Rescuing Our Communities livecast, I am Clayton here today to talk about a subject that hopefully will help a lot of brothers out, and that's joint custody, its purpose, what it entails, and how it can be effectively used to control your relationship with your child's mother. Whether she be your current woman or your ex-woman, or whether you guys are friends or you guys are not friends. The whole point of a joint custody agreement is to legally define the relationship and the responsibilities of both parents or both supervising parties of the child, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a parent. You want to use a joint custody agreement, people, simply just to avoid the BS. That's the truth. You don't want to have to deal with it. You don't want to have to go to courts and have the courts dictate how you raise your child. And the only true way to do that, forgive me, I'm trying to just change my security settings. Come on, people. I hate this thing. It does this to me all the time. I so have to figure out why this setting does this. Anyway, there we go. All right, cool. All right, we're winning. We're winning. There we go. Now we go back. We go back. You know what? I gotta start cutting my Alexa off because Alexa's kind of annoying. All right, here we go. All right, people. So, in 1 second, we'll begin. I just need to do what I normally do and spread some of the links for the live cast when it goes off this morning. You know, people, when I originally began this, a lot of it was about domestic violence, and it still is. But the purpose of this is these broadcasts now is more so for education than anything, people, because many people go through the issues that I went through. There are men, thousands of men and women every year who are falsely accused and are the victims of intimate partner stalking at the hands of ex girlfriends or boyfriends who simply can't leave the situation alone. There are men and women out there who may lose the right to their child because they have an ex partner who becomes vexatious and decides to use the legal system and means to which that they can control better to keep you away from your child. A lot of times domestic violence is not about physical assault, people. It's about mental manipulation, and it's about social and financial destruction. See, someone who can't physically hurt you, they can't do anything to you, just to put it simply. They need another avenue to pursue harm towards you. If they can't physically harm you, they have to find another way to do something to balance out the fact that they can't harm you. And how some people do that, more intelligent offenders, is that they will utilize the law enforcement system, excuse me, by manipulating them. In my case, I was a single father who, from the first moment I found out I had a child, I wanted my legal rights to my child established. I had a very, very great and intelligent mother who always told me, Clayton, listen, do not allow no woman to put you on child support. You do the right thing, you control that situation, and you establish custody in parental terms, Clayton. Don't go through that, And I realize now, um, despite the fact that she's gone and she never lived to see my first child, how wise my mother was in matters of in matters of relationships. I don't think that wisdom came through reading. I think that wisdom came through life experience, being the victim of domestic violence herself, being the victim of just malicious people her whole life. A lot of people loved my late mother, but the truth is, my mother spent her whole life as a victim. People used and abused my mother. I'll even admit to some extent I wasn't the best son. I had a horrible attitude. I loved my mother. I would do whatever for her. She knew that. She had no problem calling me, hey, I need you to go to the city and do this. She knew I had things to do, but she knew her son loved her enough that I would drop what I was doing and go for her. In her death, despite the fact that I miss her incredibly, I find some peace in the fact that I know that she knew I loved her and that I would support anything she did. I'm quite certain my mother knew that about me. That's kind of the purpose of these broadcasts, also in Operation Rock. Operation Rock was the brainchild of my late mother. I didn't create this. I had, up until what happened to me, as far as becoming a victim, both as a single father and as an ex partner who was stalked by his ex partner. I didn't truly have a purpose to advocate for a charity. There are the generic purposes that they can say, oh, he's a black man. He can advocate for the rights of black men. You can advocate for the rights of minority people. You can advocate for the rights of the community. All of that's fine. But I believe true advocacy, you have to have a purpose. Something has to inspire you to be willing to put the daily energy and focus in to make yourself a force within that field of advocacy. Excuse me. When Operation Rock first started, it was something I tried to give to my mother's friends. Well, supposed friends, people who supposedly claim they love her and they wanted to continue her work. But the truth is, these people were self centered people who were only thinking about themselves and the fact that they might be able to use her grieving son for money, which is exactly what happened. It was disappointing. It was hurtful. Some of these people, I loved them. I knew them my whole life. I never expected them to reveal themselves upon the death of my mother because I thought I knew these people. But at the end of the day, I realized you never truly know people. It takes a lifetime to know somebody. Knowing people, interacting with them once or twice a week for years, you may think you know somebody. And right when you think they do, they will change on you faster than the summer changes to the winter. It is very true, people, that people, regardless of who they are, how old they are, what sex they may be, are much like the seasons and they change. So you should be wise and be prepared in people changing because the one thing that are two things are certain in life. One is that you will die. The second thing is that people will change on you. So those are the two things I feel need to be prepared for. But this is not going to be a rendition into my fight against domestic violence. It's actually going to be an educational broadcast where I try and attempt to teach single fathers and people and mothers, anyone who may be going through issues with joint custody as far as establishing the rights to your child and controlling a relationship to it so there's not a bunch of drama, and how to create a joint custody agreement. I'm going to start with what a joint custody agreement is, and then I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to show you how one's structured. You can't use it because it's designed for the state of New York. Excuse me, but, but family but family law is pretty uniform wherever you go, from what I'm learning. So a lot of this stuff may apply. This should be about an hour, people. So you should strap in if this is something that if you don't have all day. But we're about to start with the presentation of what a joint custody is, its purpose, its benefits, and how it can be used to help you as a single parent build a better relationship with the co-parent so that the two of you can effectively raise your child. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you another presentation that basically lays out how a joint custody agreement is structured, so that you know how to structure one. Because that's the biggest problem, people. A lot of places will tell you all of this stuff that you need a joint custody agreement. You have some good videos that'll tell you what needs to be in it. They'll even describe it to you in detail, but no one will show you how to create it. So I'm just going to give you an example. I'm going to show you the components. I'm going to show you how well defined it needs to be, and hopefully it helps somebody else. So you, like myself, can deal with the family courts of whatever state or county you in. Because the family court, as I have been advocating, is a serious, serious problem that people need to come together to fight against. The family court is corrupt, the family court is biased, and the family court violates the rights, the civil rights, of thousands of litigants every day throughout the United States of America. And I have begun to vehemently advocate against this because of how detrimental the family court was in almost destroying my life over the last 3 years due to the allegations falsely made by women who claimed that I was domestically abusive towards them. And that was wrong. But today we're not going to talk about that. Today's purpose of this broadcast is joint custody. So let's begin. The purpose and benefits of parental joint custody agreements. Understanding agreements that support family relationships by Operation Rock. Agenda. Understanding joint custody agreements, the purpose of joint custody agreements, minimizing problems between parents, controlling state family court claims, and advantages and challenges of joint custody. Understanding joint custody. Legal agreement. Joint custody is a legal agreement that allows both parents to share the rights and responsibilities of their child's upbringing. Collaborative parenting. Joint custody emphasizes collaborative parenting, focusing on cooperation between parents for the child's well being. Not necessarily equal time. Joint custody does not imply equal custody time. It's about sharing responsibilities and making decisions. Types of joint custody, legal and physical, which is very important, people. You have to define legal and physical custody because physical custody is what gives you the privileges of a custodial parent, which is important. Fathers, It's important to have physical joint custody of your child. This is how you can fight states who will try to place you unlawfully on child support, because you may not have physical custody of your child on paper 50-50. It doesn't matter if you take your child every week. On paper, you have to have a legal agreement with the custodial parent that says that you are the 50-50 physical custodial holder of that child, meaning that you have them half the time and the other parent has them half the time. It's not only about money, it's about physical custody, guys and gentlemen. That's important. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about physical custody. Physical custody is the main weapon to use against child support. It has to be defined in a joint custody agreement in order to fight the State Family Courts Act that are illegally putting men and women on child support just because they don't have the child and are not the custodial parents. Okay, so legal custody allows parents to make important decisions about their child's education, healthcare, and overall upbringing. Physical custody determines where the child primarily resides and how time is shared between parents. Visitation schedules. A clear visitation schedule is crucial in a joint custody agreement to ensure both parents understand their time with the child. Responsibilities for education. Both parents should outline their responsibilities regarding the child's education, including school, attendance, and extracurricular activities. Healthcare responsibilities. The agreement should specify how parents will share responsibilities for the child's healthcare, including medical appointments and health insurance. Communication protocols. Effective communication protocols between parents are essential to address issues promptly and keep the child's best interest in focus, because that is the only thing that truly matters, is what's the best for your child. It doesn't matter how you feel about your child's mother. It doesn't matter that you may feel that she's a whore or whatever it is. It only matters about your child. And this is for the men who may not like the fact that your child's mother is dating someone else. You may love her. The vagina might have been great. It might not even have been great. It might be something that you just need because you're possessive and you want her back because she doesn't want you. But if you have children with her, you need to understand that it's about the child. It's not about the vagina. So guys out there who don't take care of their children, learn the lesson. The purpose of joint custody agreements. Promoting the child's best interests. Importance of joint custody. Joint custody agreements allow both parents to remain actively involved in their child's life, supporting emotional stability. Emotional needs of the child. Focusing on the child's emotional needs helps to foster a sense of security and belonging, crucial during family challenges. Creating a supportive environment. A supporting environment helps children adapt to challenges, minimizing stress and promoting healthy development. Ensuring both parents remain involved. Active parental involvement. Joint custody agreements promote active participation from both parents, enhancing the children's overall development and stability. Academic outcomes. Children with involved parents tend to perform better academically, demonstrating the benefits of shared parenting arrangements. Emotional well being. Maintaining relationships with both parents positively impacts the child's emotional health and social skills, promoting overall well being. Providing stability and consistency. Stable environment for children. Agreements between parents create a stable environment that fosters security and predictability for their children. Consistent routines established by both parents help children appreciate daily activities, reducing their anxiety levels. Support during transitions. Support from both parents during transitions help children adapt more easily and feel less anxious. Minimizing problems between parents. Clear communication guidelines. Importance of guidelines. Communication guidelines can facilitate better expression of concerns among parents, enhancing mutual understanding, which is key. The greatest thing that you will have to learn as a co-parent is to understand and make, how can I put this? Make concessions for the why am I'm tripping on words today? You have to make concessions for the unfortunate, I would say, just bad characteristics of your the other co-parent. You can't allow the negative things they do to affect the relationship and the overall goal of raising your child, people. You have to learn effective communication skills, and part of that is patience and control of your temper. Regular checks in. Conducting regular check ins helps prevent misunderstanding and builds a stronger collaborative relationship. Conflict resolution mechanisms. Importance of mediation. Mediation provides a neutral ground for parents to discuss their differences and find common solutions peacefully. Counseling benefits. Counseling can help parents understand each other's perspective and improve communication, reducing conflict. Child-centric approach. Effective conflict resolution strategies ultimately focus on well-being of the child, ensuring its supportive environment. I'm sorry, someone texted me while I was trying to read that. Shared decision-making processes. Importance of joint custody. Joint custody ensures both parents participate in important decisions benefiting the child's development and emotional well-being. Strengthening relationships. Shared decision making fosters a cooperative environment, helping parents maintain a respectful and productive relationship. Reducing conflicts. By involving both parents in crucial decisions, the potential for disputes decreases, creating a more harmonious family dynamic. Controlling state family court claims. Importance of joint custody agreements. A well defined joint custody agreement helps parents understand their roles, ensuring smoother co parenting arrangements, minimizing court interventions. Clear agreements reduce misunderstanding, making it less likely for parents to seek court interventions for disputes. Reducing emotional stress. By outlining responsibilities, families experience less anxiety and emotional turmoil during custody agreements. Establishing clear custody terms, preventing misunderstandings. Clear custody terms help prevent conflicts by ensuring both parents understand their responsibilities and rights. Adhering to agreements, both outlining explicit terms, both parties are more likely, by outlining explicit terms, forgive me, both parties are more likely to adhere to the agreement upon custody plan, enhancing co-parent experience. Defined custody terms promote a smoother co-parenting relationship, leading to better outcomes for children. Ensuring compliance with legal standards. Understanding custody agreements. Joint custody agreements must be clearly understood by parents to ensure compliance with state laws and regulations. Parental rights and responsibilities. Parents must be aware of their rights and responsibilities under joint custody agreements to protect the interests of the child's well being. Legal protection for children. Ensuring compliance with legal standards maintains legal protection for both the child and parents involved in joint custody agreements. Basically, what this is saying, people, because I feel it might need a little bit more of an explanation, is that you have to abide by the laws of your state when it comes to joint custody agreements. So at the end of this presentation, this PowerPoint, I'm going to produce a Word document that is a sample joint custody agreement I created within the state of New York. The sample agreement that I am going to show will specifically have been created using the laws of the Family Court Act of New York and the laws of the state of New York. You'll have to review that document if you choose to try to use it as a model. You'll just have to see if the stipulations that I've put in, comply with your state. And most of the time they do, because family court rules are pretty much uniform throughout the United States. Advantages and challenges of joint custody. Benefits for children and parents. Emotional well-being. Joint custody can significantly enhance the emotional well-being of children, providing stability and reassurance in their lives. Parental engagement. This arrangement allows for both parents to stay actively involved in their child's life, promoting stronger family bonds. Healthy relationships. Joint custody fosters healthy relationships among family members, contributing to a supportive environment for children. Communication issues. Communication issues can arise in joint custody agreements, leading to misunderstandings and conflicts. It is essential to maintain open lines of communication. Differing parental styles. Differing parental styles can create challenges in joint custody. Recognizing and respecting each other's approach is crucial for co-parenting. Solutions, compromise. Finding solutions like compromise helps manage disagreements and ensures that the children's best interests are prioritized. Solutions, mediation. Mediation can be an effective way to resolve conflicts in joint custody agreements, providing a neutral ground for discussing. Best practices for successful joint custody. Mutual respect. Mutual respect between parents is essential for a successful joint custody agreement. Fostering a healthy environment for the child. That's important, people. You got to respect the child's father, and in men, you got to respect the child's mother. You may not like her, you may hate her, but you got to respect her around the kid. And I am a huge proponent of this, more so now than I was before. Believe me. Clear communication. Clear communication is crucial for addressing concerns and making decisions that are in the best interest of the child. Commitment to the child's well-being. A shared commitment to the child's well-being helps both parents prioritize the children's need over their personal differences, like I just said. And my conclusion, the importance of joint custody is crucial for meeting the child's needs while allowing both parents to play active roles in their lives. It's a supportive and stable environment for the joint custody creates a supportive and stable environment for the child, ensuring their emotional and development needs are met. And by understanding these agreements, by understanding joint custody agreements, understanding these agreements help parents navigate co-parenting effectively, fostering cooperation and communication between them. So that is my presentation on what a joint custody agreement is. Let's X out of this, and we'll get to the second part of this in 1 second. So that's basically what a joint custody agreement is. That's its purpose, what it needs to entail, etc. I would have never known this if I had not been horribly lied on and just completely and maliciously pursued in the family courts of New York. People, this has been an amazing experience. And I have to say again, I've said this several times, I am incredibly thankful to the people who tried to ruin my life. By trying to falsely prosecute me criminally, they made me pursue a love and a knowledge of law. By forcing me into vexatious litigation in the family court, they forced me into a position where I had to sit down, expand my mind, and try to understand what the hell was happening to me. And in trying to understand all of this, people, I became a better person, more knowledgeable, and more capable of stopping the bullshit that happens within the family court and criminal justice system of this country. I'm not going to say I'm a legal prodigy. I'm not going to say that I know everything, but people, I'm on a damn good start and I'm getting results. That's all that matters to me. So we go to the next part of our presentation today, and that's an actual agreement. So let's go. Okay, so this is a sample family court agreement. For purposes of this agreement, we'll call the petitioner John Doe, and we'll call the respondent Jane Doe. John Doe, for the purposes of the condition, the agreement will be the father, and Jane Doe will be the mother. Um, in your state, you'll either be before the Supreme Court of your state or the Superior Court of your state. And you'll also be assigned within a specific county. So, for purposes of that, at the top, this is called the caption at the top of it. It'll either be the Supreme Court of the state of whatever, Superior Court state of whatever, in the county of whatever. Most family courts are going to give you something called a family file number, and this is all the dockets, everything that happens in your case, a motion, a petition, um, an order of protection. Anything that happens will receive a docket number. These docket numbers are centrally filed under a family file number, and the family file number is your case. So let's hypothetically say John Doe is against Jane Doe under family file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the first petition under that, which would be, let's say, for a restraining order, will be docket number blank, because they classify them by letters. People, there's a whole system to it, but you'll see it as you go along with it. It's kind of too noisome to try to understand right now. So you have to label the agreement exactly what it is. But this is a family court joint custody agreement. This joint custody agreement, the agreement, is made on this day, the day it's made, the month it's made, and in what year. It's created in the state of what, the county of what, and who it's between. It's between Jane Doe, the mother, and John Doe, the father. Whereas the mother and the father are the mutual parents, and it can also be guardians also. If someone has legal guardianship they're trying to split, you can also create a joint custody agreement for that. And instead of the natural parents, it'll be the legal guardians. And then you would have to list the child's name and the date of birth. Oh, damn, I left my daughter's date of birth in here. I'm sorry. You see, people, this is a real joint custody agreement I used that was accepted by the family court that I created myself. I just took all the important information out, and I tried to use it for an example, but I forgot to take my daughter's birthday out. Whereas the parties desire to enter into this agreement to provide for the care and custody of the child in the child's best interest. Now, therefore, in consideration of the mutual covenants and agreements herein, the mutual covenants and agreements herein are the stipulations of the order and the agreements within the stipulations of this joint custody agreement. And it's basically saying because of the things that are stated and promised in here, both of us are going to comply by this, and it's about the state. Now, when you begin your joint custody agreement, the first thing you want to do is you want to have a section that defines important terms, and that's key. Because if it comes to a point where the agreement needs to be reviewed for a lack of enforcement, you would need to make sure that the agreement was well defined, was detailed enough that it's absolutely impossible the other party did not understand. That is key. It has to be so defined that it avoids future problems. That's the whole point of a joint custody agreement, is that you don't want to end up in court later. Actually, I got to go back. I didn't read that. Okay. So, definitions. For the purposes of this agreement, I have defined three things, which is legal custody. Legal custody means the right and responsibility to make decisions relating to the health, education, and welfare of the child, which is what I just said in the last presentation. Physical custody means the physical care and supervision of the child, which was just said in the PowerPoint presentation. Major decisions include, but are not limited to, decisions regarding the child's education. Next slide. Decision of schools, non-emergency medical treatment, religious upbringing, and any other significant decisions that may have a lasting impact on the child's well-being. Now, see, I've legally defined the major terms of this agreement. Now, we're going to break them apart into sections. Legal custody. The parties shall have joint legal custody of the child. Both parties shall confer with each other in all major decisions relating to the child's health, education, and welfare. In the event of a disagreement regarding a major decision, the parties shall attempt to resolve the issue through good faith negotiation. If unable to reach an agreement within 14 days, the parties shall attend a mediation before seeking court intervention, which is key. This will stop your child's mother who gets mad at you for just running the family court if she has a joint custody agreement with you that says she has to go to mediation first. That's key. It prevents her from just trying to run and put an order of protection on you. Physical, unless you hit them. If you do something to somebody when they call the cops on you, you're going to get that order of protection. Physical custody. The parties shall share physical custody of the child on a 50-50 basis. Now, this section is key, people, because this is the section that will protect you from a state trying to illegally impose child support on you just because you don't have a piece of paper that says you take your child half the time. This is what I'm talking about. You need a document signed by the custodial parent that says you have the child on a 50-50 basis, which makes you the co-custodial parent. States cannot charge a custodial parent with child support. They can only charge a non-custodial parent with child support. So by having a joint custody agreement like this, you are able to get child support removed from you. I actually have found some case law where fathers have actually gotten child support rescinded the entire debt by getting a joint custody agreement. So it's actually interesting. It's something you might want to look into within whatever state or municipality you live in. But there is some case law where child support has been completely rescinded due to the inclusion of joint custody agreements. All right. So basically, I define it on a 50-50 basis. I broke mine down into weeks just to be easy for the child. You want to give the child as much time in both spaces as possible. So mine is week on. Every week, excuse me, every month has 4 weeks, basically 5 weeks sometimes. So it starts like this. Week 1 is the mother. From Sunday to Friday, week 2 is the father. From Sunday to Friday, everybody got the same pickup times. Everybody has the same day of pickup to the same day of drop off. Real fair, 50-50. Weekends, the parties shall alternate weekends, which means if I have her the mother has her from Sunday to Friday, I have her from Friday to Sunday. And then that week, I get her. Actually, yeah, that does work. If I have her from Friday to Sunday, the mother has her from that, and then I keep her that week. I return her that Friday, and the mother has her then. So it works out. She's in both places at the same time, my kid. This shall rotate weekly. I'm gonna have to figure all that out. But basically, this section of it for physical custody defines how I'll pick my daughter up during the week, how I'll drop her off on the weekend, how I'll deliver her after I pick her up and drop her off, and how her mother will do the same thing. It defines the weekdays and the weekends, so it covers all bases. Custody exchanges. Custody exchanges will take place at the child's school when the school is in session, meaning that I can pick my daughter from school the day I take her to when I take her into my custody, I don't have to meet up with her mother. I can go right to the school and pick her up. Hey, I'm her dad. She comes with me. She goes about her damn business. When school is not in session, exchanges shall occur at a place mutually agreed by both parties at the time specified in Section 3.1. Each parent shall be responsible for transportation during their respective custodial periods, which means your child's mother can't call you to take the child to the doctor. She has the kid, she has to take the kid to the doctor. The kid has soccer, she has to take the kid to the soccer. And guess what? During your time, you have to do the same thing. You can't call her. So if she's trying to focus on her life, maybe going to school, whatever, during the time period you have that child, guess what? She's a single mom with you having the custody, living her life. And the reverse works in the other way, lady. When you have the kids, your child, you can't call them and tell them to bring milk. You can't call them and tell them to bring the kid to the doctor. No, when you have custody, you have to do it. Okay. Custody exchanges, da da da. Both parents shall make every effort to be punctual for exchanges, which is key. Many of us go through custody exchanges and the mothers or the fathers show up an hour late. This ensures that they can't do that. If the parent is more than 15 minutes late, they shall notify the other parent. Now, here's the thing. Many times you'll get people who get into situations and they get angry at the other parent, so they'll make you wait for the kid, etc. You might wait an hour or two. They don't call, they don't show up. With an agreement like this, the only thing you would need to do is document those latenesses. And let's say they were 3-4 times, they were over 30-45 minutes late. You seek mediation to remedy that. They do it again. You take them back to court and you remove the custodial privileges, making them the non-custodial parent now and subjecting them to the same things that you went through when you were on the other side. But as long as they comply, you don't have to do that. Holiday and vacation schedules. That's key. You want to define holidays and vacation schedules, and you want to, again, cover every aspect of every time period that you will take your child to minimize any discrepancies that may come up in the future. People, I never thought raising my damn kid would come to a contract, but people, that's what it has come to ensure my personal safety, my freedom, and my peace of mind. And for any single father or mother out there who is going through this BS with your co-parent, I strongly suggest you watch this video 3 or 4 times. Holiday and vacation schedule. The following holiday and vacation schedules will supersede the regular school schedule. And if you look at the document, you'll see that I define Christmas, I define Thanksgiving, I define spring vac, and I define summer vacations. People, you cover all bases in these joint custody agreements. You do not allow any discrepancy in any time period. You don't want to you don't want to set it up like you see the physical custody in Section 3, which is week on, week off, and weekends. And then the mother start raising issues when holidays come around because she wants the kid. And guess what? It's your week. No, this defines when a mother will have Thanksgiving and when a father will have Thanksgiving. Hypothetically speaking, it's 2025. So it looks like if this is an even numbered year, my daughter's mother would have my child for Thanksgiving. But guess what? It's not. This is an odd number year. This is 2025. So I will finally spend Thanksgiving with my child this year. Yay! Our first Thanksgiving together. Now I won't spend, oh crap, Christmas in even numbered years, the father shall have, oh wow, I got it for Christmas too. I just realized this. I didn't even realize I had it for Christmas. That's dope. I will be able to spend Christmas with my child this year. I didn't even realize this at the time when I put this in. But yeah, this would be the year. Well, actually, no, I'm bugging people. It's an even numbered year. So her mother got it this year. Okay, I misread that. Okay, I'm too happy. Anyway, so you see, I defined Thanksgiving, Christmas, and summer vacation. Let's move on because I feel kind of stupid now. I got so happy. All right, international travel, which is key for me, people. Everyone knows I like to travel. I've been to Bangkok. I've been all over for the most part. I got to go to China. I haven't been to China yet. But this details my ability to take my child on international travel, and that's important. You want to be able to give the other parent assurances that if you take that kid out the country, you're going to bring them back. So this establishes that. It establishes the fact that just in case you leave the country, you can't just take this kid. And if you do, even though they might not get you to be back, you'll be a fugitive and you'll be subject to arrest in the United States of America. Because if you do anything that deviates from the stipulations of this agreement, it'll be considered kidnapping and you'll have a major problem. International travel. Neither parent shall travel internationally with the child without the written consent of the other parent. Traveling times must specify in writing. Oh God, I must have wrote that. Forgive me. The context, the exact duration of time the child will remain out of the country. So if I told my child's mother, yo, we going to DR for 2 weeks, I can only take her for 2 weeks unless I get her written consent to extend the time. If I don't show up in 2 weeks and she can't get in touch with me, people, she can go to the cops and have me arrested for kidnapping. Um, any extensions to the existing trip must be approved by the other parent. Such consent shall not be reasonably withheld, which means they can't decide not to allow you to keep the kid because they're jealous. It got to be a valid reason why they don't want you to keep the kid for a week longer. The kid got school, the kid got a doctor's appointment. I'll be honest, people, if they just want to say no because they got plans with the kid, they can also, but it can't be malicious. If you understand what I'm saying, which is kind of hard to prove in these contexts, but it is what it is. At least you have 2 weeks with your kids, so you got to thank God for the blessing. The traveling parent shall provide a detailed itinerary, including flight information, accommodation, and exact details at least 3 weeks prior to departure. What that means, people, is you got to tell the co-parent every place you're going and give them contact information for every place you'll be at. And you know what that ensures? It ensures the fact that they know that you're not trying to secret the child of somewhere else. It's not a spy clause. It's to ensure for you that you are doing everything in your power to be completely transparent with the other side. The traveling parent shall ensure that your child has all necessary travel documents, including a valid passport and any required visas. Education. Both parents shall have equal access to the child's records and the right to communicate directly with the school personnel. Major educational decisions, including choice of school, shall be made jointly by the parents. Both parents shall support and encourage the child's participation in school activities. Now, people, that's key also. That disagreement stops one parent from saying, yo, I'm gonna send them to this school without consulting the other parent. This agreement stops one parent from being able to monopolize the child's education without by and excluding the other parent. Medical care. Both parents shall have equal access to child's medical records and the right to communicate directly with healthcare providers. Major medical decisions shall be made jointly by both parents, except in emergencies where immediate action is necessary, and the parents shall equally share uninsured medical, dental, and optical expenses for the child. I think the most important section of this is section 2, and it grants one parent the right to make an emergency decision without the other parent, which, like, let's say if the kid got hurt and it was a life-threatening injury, I'm sure no parent is going to disagree with the fact that the father or the mother says, yo, save the kid's life. So I think that's self-explanatory. Extracurricular activities. Both parents shall communicate. Both parents shall support and encourage the child's participation in extracurricular activities. That's sports, people. The parents shall jointly decide on the child's participation in extracurricular activities, taking into consideration the child's interests, abilities, and impact on the custody schedule, which means you both decide whether a child runs tracks, boxes, does jujitsu, whatever it is, you have to approve, and the other co-parent has to approve. They can't decide the child can do something that you disagree to. It doesn't work like that anymore. The parents shall equally share the cost associated with agreed upon extracurricular activities, including equipment, uniforms, and fees, which means, guess what, dads? If you decide that your daughter is going to take karate, the mother's responsible for half the karate bill. I think that's fair. Communication and technology use. The parents shall communicate with each other regarding the child via details, all forms of contact, IG, texting, email, parenting app, etc. You want to include within this section every way you will contact your child's father or mother, whether it's iPhone text, um, WhatsApp, email, video chat. They got these parenting apps like Our Parenting Wizard that I had to sign up for. It's like $400 for the year that monitors and records all interactions between the parents, which is key to documenting communication. Um, so you want to have that, excuse me, to ensure clear documentation of agreements and discussions. Each parent shall have reasonable telephone and video communication with the child when the child is in the care of the other parent at a mutual agreed upon time that does not interfere with the child's normal activities. Meaning, when one parent has custody of the child, the other parent has to be able to access the child via phone or video. You are supposed to set specific times, but I don't think any good parent is going to stop the other parents from calling when they choose to call the kid and say hi. But I'll leave everyone else to make their own determination of that. The parents shall jointly establish guidelines for the child's use of technology, including screen time limits, social media usage, and internet safety protocol. These guidelines shall be consistently applied to both households. One parent can't set the rules again, people. In the simplest terms, that's what it means. All right, we have 2 more pages, people. We're almost done. We're at 40 minutes. If either parent is unable to care for the child during the scheduled custody time for a period exceeding 4 hours, the parent shall offer the other parent the opportunity to care for the child before seeking alternative child care. Meaning that if for some reason, let's say you can't take care of the child for a day or two, your child for a day or two, before you hire someone else to do it, you have to ask the other parent if they would like to take their child back. If they say no because they got school, work, the club, a date, whatever, then you can go find other. But this gives the other parent, preference in taking control of the child back before you decide to put the child in someone else's custody. Modification and flexibility. This agreement may be modified by mutual written consent of both parties. That means that the agreement can't be changed by one person. Both people have to agree. The parties recognize that flexibility is essential and agree to cooperate in making reasonable accommodations to this schedule when necessary. The parties agree to review this agreement annually, meaning every year, and when the child reaches significant milestones, entering middle school, high school, to ensure it remains suitable for the child's involvement. Meaning that it's subject to review every year. It's subject to review when your child faces a major development. Let's say she's about to go to first grade. Let's say she's about to go to junior high school. That's pretty big. Hell, let's say she's about to go to high school. That's big. If she's going to the prom, if she's going to the doctor, if she's been selected for a special national sporting event, all of this covers that. Relocation. Neither parent, this is a big one, neither parent shall relocate with the child to a residence more than 50 miles from their current residence without the written consent of the parent or a court order, meaning that your child's mother or father cannot take the child anywhere further than 50 miles from you without getting written consent from you. That stops them from moving out of the state. That stops them from moving anywhere and keeping access from your child from you. Neither parent shall leave their respective states or residence with the child for a period of more than 24 hours without the consent of the other parent. Meaning, again, people, let's say your child's mother tells you she's going to Jersey to the mall and she ends up going to Virginia, she's in violation of this joint custody agreement. She cannot do that. If she's going out of state for more than 24 hours, she has to notify you and you have to give your consent. The parent intending to relocate shall provide written notice to the other parent at least 90 days prior to the proposed relocation, detailing the reasons for the move and a proposed revised custody schedule. People, let's say your child's mother gets a good job, something good for her. I'm gonna use a positive example, and she says, "Yo, I got a really good job. I'm making really good money. I need to move to California." She has to give you at least 90 days notice of that, and she has to do everything she can to work that out with that child. She cannot just move and tell you it's for a new job. She's going to do it. You guys have to rearrange this custody agreement to work out the increased distance and time. Excuse me. If the parent cannot agree on a revised schedule, they shall attend mediation before seeking court intervention. Again, people, let's say she's being a hard ass. I want this job. No, I'm moving with the kid. I'm moving. I'm going to get a court order. No, people, she can't do that. She got to take you to mediation first so you two can express what's going on to a neutral party. And that's good for you because that gives the court something to refer to when they look at the totality of what's going on. Because the mediator is going to tell the court the truth, which is no, he's trying to work it out, but she's not being reasonable. She's just trying to move, or she's trying to be reasonable and he's not agreeing. He's being totally resistant, something to that extent. Dispute resolution. In the event that any dispute relating to this agreement, the parties agree to attempt resolution through the good faith negotiation within 14 days of the dispute rising. If negotiation is unsuccessful, the parties shall attend mediation within 30 days of the failed negotiation before filing any court action except in cases of emergencies. The parties shall jointly select a mediator from a list of court-approved family law mediators. If they cannot agree on a mediator, each party shall nominate 3 mediators, and the final selection shall be made by alternately striking names until one remains. The cost of mediation shall be equally shared by both parties unless otherwise agreed upon. People, that covers any disagreements that may arise pursuant to this agreement. It details the fact that one parent doesn't have to pay for mediation, that both parents are responsible. It details that one parent can't simply take you to court without trying to find a means of handling the situation without using the court unless an emergency comes into effect. Domestic violence is a big emergency. The problem with that is that an accusation of domestic violence does create the It creates the basis of an ex parte petition. And again, for those of you who have been watching, an ex parte petition is something that can be filed and granted against you without you ever being present or ever being allowed to present yourself. So there will still be certain challenges, ladies and gentlemen, but again, it's all in the details, and you just have to document and do your best to avoid the traps of the system, because there are many traps of the system that this order will not get you around. The only thing that will get you around it is documentation, diligence, and awareness. Emergency decision making. In the event of a medical emergency requiring immediate action, the parent with physical custody at the time may make necessary decisions to ensure the child's safety and well being. The parent making the emergency decision shall notify the other parent as soon as reasonably possible to provide all relevant information regarding the emergency in any decision. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We don't need a recount of that. Non-compliance and enforcement. Big section. Both parties acknowledge that failure to comply with the terms of this agreement may result in legal action for enforcement. If the event that the willful noncompliance defined as knowing and intentional violation of the agreement terms and noncompliant party shall be responsible for any reasonable expense, including attorney fees incurred by the other party in enforcing the agreement. So, people, that means if your child's mother or your father signs this agreement and chooses not to comply, you can take them to court and they will be responsible for all the legal fees if it's determined that they are the one who created this situation. And I think that's fair to all of us out there who have been pretty much just abused by the family court system. We're at the conclusion. If any provision of this agreement is held to be invalid or unenforceable, the remaining provisions shall continue to be valid and enforceable. That covers if anything changes in the agreement that's no longer valid. It doesn't invalidate the whole agreement. It only invalidates that section that may have changed until it can be rectified by A, mediation, or B, court action if the mediation is not effective. The entire agreement. This agreement contains the entire understanding of the parties concerning the custody of the child. It supersedes any prior agreements and may be modified only by written consent signed by both parties. People, again, that's self-explanatory. I'm pretty sure I have a very intelligent audience. I don't have to explain that. Governing law and jurisdiction. This agreement shall be governed This agreement shall be governed by and construed in accordance with the laws of the state of New York. I forgot to take that out, people. I'm sorry. Any legal action concerning this agreement shall be brought about in the courts of Kings and New York. Now, people, again, I told you have to apply it to the county where you reside and in that state. This agreement was created in New York for my family court situation, so it was created in Brooklyn, New York, which is Kings County. And that's why you see that. And then you just have to have a basic notary here between both parties stating that this person witnessed you and the other person signing the agreement. And people, that's your joint custody agreement. Voila, there you go. So I hope that was informative, people. We did that in a little under an hour. I'm getting pretty good at this because I thought it would take me over an hour. But basically what I've done today is I have provided you with a detailed understanding of what a parental joint custody is. I've explained its purpose. I've explained legal definitions. I've explained the legal terms that need to be included in a custody agreement, like legal and physical custody and major decisions. And then I've provided you with a written example of what a joint custody agreement entails and how it needs to be detailed in subcategory. Excuse me. I'm hoping that's helpful. It truly helped me a lot learning what the hell this was. I believe so far it's minimized a lot of the problems I had in raising my own child. Because people, god damn, I've been fighting for my daughter for 3 years. The weight that I have finally lifted from myself in obtaining my parental rights, I've been at such peace for the last couple of weeks. Even though my offender is still stalking me, still contacting people who are congratulating me on simply getting my child back, and that's sick, people. The only person who would be mad that you got your child back is the person who doesn't want you to have it. Now, this is my ex-girlfriend doing this. So clearly she wasn't happy at the fact that I had a baby by a woman that wasn't her. She never wanted me to take care of my kid. This woman was so vicious. She did everything in her power to make sure I could not get to my child, people. And I had to become a damn practical, non-licensed lawyer to get all of the bull crap this girl has done to me removed from my life. And I'm still fighting, people. 3 years later, I'm still fighting to clear my name. Oh, man, I'm still fighting just to get this girl to back the hell off me. But, people, the fight continues. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and God chooses his hardest battles for his strongest generals, and I guess that's my purpose. So, in the next episode of Operation Rock, I have the interview of the year, at least in terms of my situation. I'll be interviewing the mother of my child. Why am I interviewing the mother of my child? Well, the mother of my child is an intricate part in everything that has happened to me. As you see, my intention with this woman is clear communication and no problems. Because I'm not about problems. I can deal with problems. I can become argumentative with people. I don't like drama and problems. I like to chill. So I believe in creating effective avenues of communication. And then once those avenues dissipate is when I usually become an asshole. That's been my story my whole life, people. I am very agreeable until people try to play me. Once you try to play me, I'm not agreeable no more. I'm a complete a-hole, if you get what I'm saying. But people in maturity, we realize that there are certain people in our lives that, regardless of their shortcomings, we have to give them consideration. And one is the people who we have children with. So my child's mother made horrible mistakes. She lied on me to the police. She did everything she could because my ex-girlfriend assaulted the child to punish me. But people, that for the best interest of my child, I had to forgive this woman. And I had to find out a way to work around the hatred I have for her, considering what she did to me. And people, I'm not over it yet, I'll be honest, but I'm trying. I'm trying. She's doing things to try to make amends for what she did because she knows what she did to me was wrong and some of the things that she did to damage me. And hopefully, in doing this interview, she's going to talk about a lot. She's going to reveal a lot of truths. And I hope that, having her on this interview further verifies me with my audience, people, that I was never malicious to my ex girlfriend. I didn't try to have her arrested, people. I tried to let her go on with her damn life. Revenge is such a powerful motivator for people who truly are under its control that they will destroy themselves to obtain it. The old expression, I believe, goes that he who sets about a course of revenge should dig two graves. My ex's situation came about because she set about a course of revenge against the man who broke her heart. It's not my fault that even though she might have almost killed me, she is now falling in the grave that she has dug. No one told her to lie. No one told her to create all the false litigation she did towards me. No one told her to perjure herself in numerous courts. These are all things she did to obtain her objective of revenge, which it looks like is unraveling. On behalf of Operation Rock people, this is my story. And I'm glad that I've become such a knowledgeable person with regard to this because even though, again, I'm not a lawyer, the advice I'm giving you is not necessarily legal advice. It's more of legal tips, I would say, because I can't legally give you advice. But it is a basis for anyone who has a problem like I had to deal with that problem and effectively puts you on the path. So even though if you can't do this, you can speak about it with enough knowledge to speak to someone else who can do it for you. Let's say if you have a BS court appointed attorney, this video right here is enough for you to review it, study it, go before your family court attorney and say, no, I need this, and this in my joint custody agreement. And people, guess what? You'll get it. So on behalf of Clayton, on behalf of Operation Rock, on behalf of a great mother who loved me enough to instill the need to constantly educate myself, I am Clayton, continuing her mission, continuing her purpose, and just being true to the things that she put in me, which is that knowledge is power, and the only way to change your community is by actively standing up against oppression and trying to educate the people around you to understand what's going on. I was a victim of malicious prosecution and false police reporting that was, I would say, reinforced by corruption in the Richmond County DA's office and the Staten Island District Attorney's office. It was fostered by corruption in the NYPD, which doesn't actually do its job of investigating complaints, simply arrest people to bolster its own statistics and numbers. People, that was wrong. It harmed me. It caused me damages. It destroyed my relationship with my child. I missed 3 years of my daughter's life, people, for things I never did. How do you think that makes me feel as a father who never had any kids until he was 40 years old? And I was happy to have a kid, but I lost the most beautiful years of my young daughter's life. Her first, second, and third years of life, I pretty much lost them. I missed her first steps. I missed her first words, all because my ex-girlfriend was jealous I had a baby by a woman that wasn't hers, and that I wasn't willing to deal with her crazy family and hide the fact I had a child. This woman destroyed my damn life. So, people, I'm not after revenge. I'm after justice. I want to clear my name. I want my rights to my child protected, and I want to be protected by the due process clause, the equal protection clause, of the 14th Amendment, and not have my rights ignored by the police when I have orders that they are supposed to enforce my rights. The police and prosecutors don't have the right to deny anyone victimhood because you're black, because you're a man, because you're gay or a lesbian, which is the both thing, because you're transgender, because you're a damn alien with a green head. The 14th Amendment protects everyone who is a citizen of this country. You have due process rights, you have equal protection rights, and they can't deny you those rights because they don't like your skin color, your sex, or something personally about you which would make you a protected class. And that's what the Family Court of New York did to me. That's what the NYPD did to me. And specifically, that is what Michael McMahon in the Staten Island District Attorney's Office did to me when they maliciously charged me with allegations that they knew were false that occurred in another state, that were put into effect by my jealous ex girlfriend, who had just been convicted of violating the New Jersey Prevention Domestic Violence Act 4 days before she falsely reported me on Staten Island, providing the probable cause to prove it was a retaliatory report that was ignored by detectives because they chose to arrest an innocent black man. People, that was wrong, and they created the worst advocate they'll ever have. A black man with a voice who's not scared to read, who will do everything in his power to expose the corruption on Staten Island and in any place that violates the rights of single fathers and minority men. So again, people, on behalf of Operation Rock, I pray this was informative. I pray that this helps somebody. Just fight the battle, people, and get a real, just get something real that protects your rights to your child, because that's all it's about, people. It's about protecting you, and it's about protecting your right to your child and your child's safety. And in everything I've talking about, that's what I'm trying to cover. I'm trying to cover my rights with my child and with respect to her mother. I'm trying to protect my child from a woman who there is an order of protection preventing her from contact, preventing this woman from contacting anyone connected to my child or going within 1,000 feet of my child, which I can definitively prove she did the entire time, and to stop this woman, more importantly, from harassing me and trying to destroy me, and to stop any woman that I ever deal with or have a child from doing the same thing that the last two women have done to me. I only have one kid. Thank God I never had a woman by Francis, a baby by Francis. Thank God I never did. Oh God, I'm so happy I never did. Oof. Use condoms, people. On behalf of Operation Rock, people, thank you for listening. I pray this broadcast helps someone as much energy as I put into learning this stuff. My prayer is that it truly helps somebody get through the trauma. It helps you minimize the nightmare. It helps you reduce the stress that I went through for 2.5 years, people, because I definitely went through it. On behalf of Operation Rock, people, have a great day. Spread this message, spread this livecast. I hope it helps somebody. Have a great day.